how is it that some spirits don't realise that they've actually passed when they get there?
Well, your realisation of your passing is all to do with your belief systems. So if you don't have any definite belief about the spirit world at all, and you have deep attachments to the earth, and you have deep attachments to your job and deep attachments to people here, you might not even realise you've passed, right? If you didn't know all the information you already know, you might not realise you're past at all, because a lot of times you're drawn back through your soul condition. We'll talk about this in more detail when we talk about the first sphere. But you're drawn back through your condition to people on earth, and you're walking around. So you'd be like you now. This is what it feels like. Often you have the dress that you prefer to wear, or the garb you prefer to wear on, because that's what your garb is, a reflection of what you desire. And you're walking around going up to people and going to talk to them, and none of them will even see you, and you go like this, and what's wrong with all of them? Everyone's in a stupor, like nobody can see me anymore, and there's a lot of confusion-based emotions, and that is because of our belief systems before we pass. So don't forget that when you pass, the only thing that has changed is you no longer are connected to your physical body. That's the only thing that changes. You are now connected to your spirit body. You feel, when I say now connected, you always have been, but now all of your sight and all of your hearing and all of your sensory apparatus all work through your spirit's body. So everything that happens is a spirit experiences for you, but often you're drawn to the same people, but they're all still living on earth. And so you go up to talk to them and they don't listen to you, and then some people get very frustrated and angry, what's wrong with them, and then they go to their work and somebody else is sitting in their chair, and what's going on there? They've taken my job away from me, and and they project a lot at the people as well in this space, of course, like they get anger, Some of them will even go so far as to try to make objects fly across the room and whatever in order to scare the people so that they leave their location.
So what about the person that passes into a really dark place? Wouldn't they realise that it's different?
Yeah, most of them don't realise because of their own dark condition before they pass. So, for instance, if you had a deep belief there is no God, there is no afterlife, there is no hells, there is no any of those things, and then you passed, and your condition personally was a hellish condition, but the hell doesn't look like the fire and brimstone that all of the Christian religions teach you. It's dark and dingy and smelly and cold and all those things. You would just think somehow you got taken into a new location on earth that you know nothing about and you can't get out of. And that's what many of them feel. So, no, sorry, you need to use the microphone because I can't hear you here either. Have you finished your questions?
Yes.
Yeah.
So does that mean that's reincarnation when you have, when you say spirits can't get through at some stage, but some religions believe that you actually, in your passing, you have a transition period and then you move into another body.
Yeah.
So what's your take on reincarnation?
You mean what is the truth on reincarnation? I'm perfectly happy to tell you the truth about reincarnation. But it's not a part of what happens. What happens is there is no reincarnation as people portray it on earth today. And it's physically impossible to reincarnate, actually, until a person reaches a dimension in the spirit world that's highly developed, and nobody who passes ever has passed historically in that condition. So there is no reincarnation in the state that people have talked about it today. None at all. Right? And actually, when you get to the third sphere of the spirit world, you'll be told that quite definitely. But the first two dimensions of the spirit world, there's many spirits who believe in reincarnation. And they heavily influence what they try to do after they've passed. And many of them try to reincarnate. And the way they do that is they watch for a conception of a child, and if they can get into that child's body along with the child's soul, they will. Right? So many children born today are actually born overcloaked as a result of that attempt, due to the beliefs of reincarnation, actually. So what often happens, and this is also the major cause of child-onset diseases, because almost every child that has a disease either before birth or at birth or shortly afterwards, even right up until 2, 3, 5, 6 years of age, almost all of those diseases are the result of a spirit attachment due to the parent's condition not preventing the attachment. All right? So that child will often act like a person who has passed because they are actually being overcloaked by that spirit. And that then people then think that supports the whole view of reincarnation. Does that make sense? Oh, he seems to be like my grandpa, or whatever. The truth is that majority of the time, grandpa is overcloaking him and actually determining a lot of what he does. And I've had many experiences with this, and that I've told you about in the past, with children with leukemia and things like that. And most children with leukemia actually pass due to spirits overcloaking them and creating their cancers, because the spirits themselves had cancer when they passed. So most child onset diseases are like that. Does that answer your question? It was very brief. There is a whole discussion I've said about reincarnation, which you can listen to, which tells you the truth of reincarnation as it really occurs. And I think it's a 4-hour discussion actually that I've had on the subject. Yeah, you can download that from the net.